On my mom's side, I'm from Zamboanga del Norte, and I'm familiar with Aleson Shipping Lines. But of course, we're talking about Aleson right now in the context of BIMP. But just give us an overview about your company.
Well, way back in 1976, a simple Chinese businessman engaged in the rice and corn business in Zamboanga City was approached by a shipyard owner and was asked if he was interested to operate a small steel-hulled vessel in Zamboanga to Isabela City. Without any experience in the shipping industry, he took the challenge along with his wife and eventually learned step by step the intricate dynamics of the shipping business. 2 years later, or in 1978, the couple acquired its second vessel, the MV Aleson, which was purely a cargo vessel. This man who founded the company is none other than my grandfather, Feliciano Tan Sr. The 1980s saw the company's rapid expansion as more cargo vessels were acquired every year. A third vessel, the MV Alexander, was principally engaged in the barter trade route between Singapore and back.
Now, how did you get involved in the BIMP route?
As 1994 dawned, then President Fidel V. Ramos spearheaded an economic and trade relations with the country's closest neighbors, namely Brunei, Indonesia, and Malaysia. Thus, the birth of BIMP Yaga, or known as BIMP East Asia Growth Area. Only Aleson Shipping Lines answered and came forward to venture into this uncharted route between Zamboanga and Sandakan, Malaysia. Aleson's MV Danica Joy Tan was the pioneer vessel that sailed in this route.
Tell us more about that route for those of us who are unfamiliar at all of the Zamboanga-Sandakan route.
Well, actually, the travel time from Zamboanga to Sandakan only takes 16 hours. So that's really fast. It doesn't even, and the sail is direct from Zamboanga Port to Sandakan Port. And we accommodate passengers as well as cargoes. The travel time from Zamboanga to Sandakan only takes 16 hours. So that's really fast. We depart at around 1 or 2 p.m. and then we arrive there around 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. It departs Sandakan at around 5 p.m. and then arrives Zamboanga around 4 p.m.
For both passenger and cargo, there's more traffic inbound coming to the Philippines, coming to Zamboanga, than there is going out. Is that true?
That's very true. We like the barter rate isn't really equal. It's usually from Malaysian products coming in Zamboanga City. Actually, Zamboanga City have a lot of products to be offered, but I think it lacks a bit of communication from both sides, or maybe we lack on business matching, maybe resources like reefer vans that Aleson does not carry, because we have agriculture like mango, seaweeds, and all those agricultural products that require reefer vans.
All
So
right.
as for us, we can only accommodate like sardines and chips whatsoever. So those are the only cargoes that are being exported to Malaysia.
If someone wanted to export bigger stuff, larger packages, or actual containers, could they do that via your ship?
Yeah.
Or hindi pwede na? You can still do that.
Yes, we can. Actually, during this pandemic, the MV Antonia, our Roro passenger vessel, we've stopped the operations for that since there aren't any tourists and no passengers can come in Zamboanga City. So we've deployed the cargo vessels. It's a containerized vessels.
Okay.
So that we can still continue the trade between both countries.
Do you share your grandfather's enthusiasm for the Bimpiaga region? I heard that, he was very, very enthusiastic about the opportunity and the chances for the country and for your company with Bimpiaga. But that was 1994, if I'm not mistaken, right? So that was
Yes.
several years ago. 3 generations later, are you as excited as your grandfather about the opportunities for us Filipinos in general with Bimpiaga?
I strongly believe in the vision of the BIMP Yaga to foster inclusive growth through the trade and tourism in the areas that are far from maximizing their full potential, such as Palawan and Mindanao in the Philippines. On my part, as one of the BEBC directors, We will focus on increasing the participation of the private sector and explore more economic opportunities that shall generate employment and livelihood for our people. So yeah, we will also actively engage the government to assist us in making travel, trade, and investment easier and accessible for everyone. In my personal capacity in representing Aleson Shipping Lines, we will see to it that my grandparents' dream and vision to uplift the lives of our people through sea connectivity shall continue. So we will take a proactive stand and consistently be aware of the new growth opportunities that can inclusively and sustainably benefit the region.
All right. So there you heard it, ah. Mga kaibigan, friends, people think, okay, can we actually, is there a trip? Is there a boat? Is there any way of traveling between the
There
Philippines
is.
and Malaysia, particularly in that part of the country? Well, there is. You're meeting the
There is.
person who's behind it, and there's a face to it right now. So there is a company, there is a ship, and they are looking because there is there's so much space and they need your products. So in short, there are companies, there are businesses in Sandakan, in Sabah, Malaysia, that need and want your goods, which you can supply, and there is a ship to take them. So it's all up
Yes.
to you right now. All right. Thank you
Yeah,
very
there's
much.
sorry, that was actually yeah, that was our point. Like we have the resources and it's really not utilized well.
Mas malapit ba ang pumunta ka ng Sabah kesa pumunta ka ng Zamboanga mula sa Tawi-Tawi?
Yeah. Napakalayo po ng difference, ano? Ang halimbawa, if you are from Turtle Islands, it will take you around only 25 minutes to go to Sandakan. One of the biggest yung area entries sa Sabah. If you are coming from halimbawa Palawan, Balabac, so Kudat is just around 4 hours away from Mangsi, which is part of the Philippines. If you are coming from Tawi-Tawi, kung sa Sitangkay ka, going to Sampurna will take you just a little less than 2 hours. And lahat datu, if you are from, kahit Bungaw na lang sabihin natin, Bungaw to lahat that is just around 88 miles away. Kung Zamboanga ka galing, that's 170 nautical miles. Ganun na lang ang differences, ano?
All right.
Over one half of the distance. So,
Okay. So obviously, it is much closer to you. Our neighbor internationally is much closer to you at in Tawi-Tawi than the nearest large business hub, which is Zamboanga. So tama 'yon?
yeah, tama yun.
All right.
At saka obviously naman, siguro, business yan eh.
Okay.
Obviously, in terms of handling, freight and handling, at saka cost ng transportation, malaki rin. So if it is parang pass on to the consumer, mataas din ang presyo ng
All right.
bilihin.
Ted,
It's coming from the Philippines.
Director Ted, one of the things which you spoke of was really, and I wanted to touch on this, was seaweeds. And let me just share this with you. Talk about this first. Seaweed. Siguro, let's break this down. Let's start with here. Okay.
Yeah.
The
Ang
seaweed
Tawi-Tawi
production,
lang
how much do you really contribute in with regard to seaweeds?
ang seaweed ng Tawi-Tawi, actually dati talagang kami ang siga dyan. Since it started in the late 1960s, ang Tawi-Tawi ay pinakamalaking production area ng seaweed all over the country. And at that time, nag-number 1 pa nga tayo ang Pilipinas. And accountable yan sa production ng Tawi-Tawi. Kasi si Tangkay, I think, is still the biggest, single biggest production area ng seaweed up to the present. Pero na-overtake na nga tayo sa production ng Indonesia. So we are just third in terms of seaweed production, yung raw seaweed. But I think China is number 1, Indonesia is second, and we are the third biggest country. Pero sa Pilipinas, ang Tawi-Tawi pa rin ay nangunguna sa production. Overall, I think we are accounting for about 50% of the whole barm production. Ang barm naman ay accounting for over one half or at least one half of the production ng Pilipinas. So, ito ay pinaka-dependable na rin means of livelihood ng mga fisher folks. Kasi alam mo naman we are a coastal island province. So lahat ng mga tao ay talagang ang kabuhayan, I think majority are fishing or marine related activities, and seaweed actually is pinaka-dominant source of livelihood sa Tawi-Tawi. I think halos karamihan kasi coastal ay dependable sa seaweed. Kumbaga parang yun na lang ang daily bread ng tao dito sa Tawi-Tawi. So dapat alagaan. Kaya kung it started in 1967 up to now, yun pa rin ang pinaka biggest yung source of livelihood, yung in terms of participation ng tao kung saan sila yung parang gusto ma-involve or ma-engage ay sa seaweed pa rin. So kailangan talaga siguro, I think there should be a way forward para naman ma-address itong industry kasi ang dami na rin actually problema that is hounding the industry for so long. I'll give you background sa seaweed. Ang pinakamalaking problema, yung mga recent times sa seaweed, yung mga fluctuation ng prices. Hindi mo, kumbaga kung makita mo, kahit paulit-ulit ka mag-consult sa ground, yung fluctuation talagang napakalaki. Halimbawa, you are given a price of umabot pa nga ang seaweed at 115 per kilo, pero in no time bumaba siya sa 35 pesos. So kawawa. If you are planting, if you are an ordinary seaweed farmer, nagpa-plant kayo kasi mataas, pero after few weeks or in 1 month bumaba na. So bagsak ka, bagsak ka sa capital, bagsak ka sa. And sa tingin namin ma-address ito kung talagang pagtutuunan ng pansin yung mga ganitong problema. So, I'll give you background. May engagement ng JICA dati sa DTI. I was then, hindi pa naman ako director noon. May engagement. So, we tried, parang nag-pilot kami ng area and look after this problem. Ang project ay they started with arm industry comprehensive enhancement program, so ISEP. Tapos we tried to organize yung seaweed to strengthen the seaweed farmers. Pero actually, hindi naman sabihin ko failure, pero parang 50-50 ang accomplishment. And we started to shift into parang market driven local industry promotion. So we concentrated on the marketing of the seaweed.